Excited to welcome Drew McIntyre back to the show. First time in a long time. We were talking constantly during the pandemic. It's been a few years now. Great to have you back here. This eye patch that you're rocking, it is playing, man. It's fitting too for a guy who dominated WWE between these two pirate-themed WrestleManias, don't you think?
Yeah, it was interesting when I wore it in the locker room. A couple of the guys started kind of laughing initially, doing their little pirate voices, and then one of them stopped and said, "Damn it, no, what's the matter?" I went, "You're actually pulling it off." So they were upset when they started initially trying to rib me. Then said, "They'll actually, it works for you." And yeah, my goodness, we used to talk all the freaking time because when everybody decided to go home and Drew McIntyre stepped up, I stepped up in a big way and gave all my time to the company, to the other superstars. And 5 years later, it's interesting that everybody, specifically the fans, have quickly forgot about that and like to make jokes about that time where everybody was so unsure what was going to happen next.
Yeah, carried the title well on screen with no fans and off screen doing media with people like me all the time, right? So, how's this eye doing, by the way? And what actually got in there? Was it indeed real glass? How long do you need to wear this thing?
I mean, I won't go to all the exact details, but I landed on the windshield and yep, some stuff got in my eye. Um, and that's about as much detail as I'll give right now. I don't want to give too much away,
Sure.
especially to Priest. And I really want to make WrestleMania in some capacity. But yeah, I got I got some things in there, some debris that wasn't supposed to be in there.
Sure.
I'll
And we're
say as much as that.
No, that works. And we're going to get to Priest momentarily. But let's talk about WrestleMania 41st edition coming up Saturday, Sunday, April 19th to 20th, live, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. It's on Peacock in the United States, internationally on Netflix. You're now on SmackDown also every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on USA Network and Netflix internationally as well. This switch to the blue brand, it made sense given the timing of everything, but walking into that show when you did you feel as if, I don't know how to put this necessarily, but the energy level needed to be picked up compared to the way things were operating on Raw?
Um, yeah, I mean it's a 3 hour show on SmackDown, so going from Raw switching to 2.5 hour, and just so many characters and so many stories hitting, and specifically myself being consistently involved in top level stories for the past couple of years. Moving to SmackDown, I was like, okay, there's this and this that's hitting, this and this that's working. I want to be making sure I add to it and become, a highlight of this show. But at the same time, we need a lot of stepping up all across the board because getting a 3 hour show that is easy to watch from beginning to end, no matter who's on there, no matter what's going on, is not easy to do. But a lot of people have been stepping up. It's WrestleMania season, so if they're not stepping up, they should be stepping out the door.
Now, look, it's not official yet. It's clear you're on this collision course with Priest, as you mentioned. As someone who's super online, and look, everyone's super online these days, if we're being honest, was the reaction to this, let's call it expected booking, almost heartening in a way that fans appreciate the work you're doing so much that they want you involved in something befitting of what you've accomplished over the last few years?
Yeah, of course. I mean, anyone that says they're not online is a liar. We're in 2025. Like the internet is everywhere. It's so powerful, and anybody that says they're not aware of it is an absolute liar. I've just happened to weaponize it because I'm smart and sensible, and it's a massive, powerful tool. So why wouldn't you do all you can with it? So I absolutely decided to weaponize it, and I appreciate all the fans out there who felt like, hey, Drew should be in, a title match or this match. And I did some fantasy booking on my behalf, based on my work over the past couple of years, being able to show what I'm truly capable of when I'm unleashed. And that's thanks to obviously who's leading the creative right now and just letting a lot of people loose who you can trust to be themselves and take it as far as they can go creatively on television and off television.
Mhm.
Like I'm on 24/7. So yeah, I really did appreciate that. At the same time, I guess there's only so many spots at the top of the card. I did question why I talked about Roman for 3 months and it didn't really go anywhere, but I don't make the decisions of what the final matches are, and I was fully aware there is a year-long storyline with Damian Priest and I that has not been told yet. Beginning at WrestleMania last year, that we finally had the chance to start telling on TV, or I told for the past month. And Priest finally had his little say back this week, where people finally realized, oh, okay, wow, this has been going on this entire time. Priest has been benefiting every time McIntyre was screwed, and it took away my last opportunities to fight for the world title when my back was turned. And I found it interesting some of the stuff he had to say this week about painting myself as the victim and be my victim, like he's Candyman, that stupid deep voice of his. But yeah, I'm not painting myself as the victim. I was the victim of being screwed and CM Punk ruining multiple giant pay-per-views, especially main events and record-breaking shows. And he picked the bones and benefited. And yeah, now try to twist it like I'm the bad guy here. No, he's the bad guy. He referred to himself as the bad guy. He's already Timo Undertaker. He could be Timo Razor Ramon as well. So he doesn't know who the hell he is. I know who the hell he is. He's the one that's going to be underneath my boot when I get my hands on him, one eye or not.
Do you feel like the initial reaction to all of that made you guys work even harder to get those segments right? Because your feud right now is probably the only one, and I'm saying this fairly, that has been firing on all cylinders without a real hiccup on this road to WrestleMania.
Oh, thank you. And I mean, for Priest, I'm sure. I mean, I'm not sure. I know for 100% he saw what everybody had to say, and it should, and I imagine did, and I can see it in his eyes, 100% did light a fire under his arse. For me, I'm going to be the same no matter what. I've always got a chip in my shoulder. Now that I have this ability, that if something's not on TV, that I'm like, okay, because our creative is on the ball constantly all the time now. And
Mm.
there's only so much you can do on TV, but because of social media, I'm like, hey, I can balance this out and make this story more three-dimensional because I'm such a psycho when it comes to the creative aspect of this industry. I'm going to make this more three-dimensional off screen as well as on screen. And Priest really has stepped up during this time, of course. He's a street guy, and then he put me through a car windshield and clumsily potentially screwed up whatever is going to happen next. But if I have it my way, no matter what's supposed to happen next is going to happen next, because it doesn't matter if I've got one eye, if I land on the edge of the steps like I did at Hell in the Cell, if I got a 17-inch gash in my head, I'm still going to push ahead. I'm still going to wrestle on WrestleMania, and I'll fight it till my final breath, because the guy in charge right now has fought through a lot worse
Yeah.
than I've got going on right now. So he
One of the reasons
understands.
one of the reasons I like interviewing you is you allude to so many future questions that I'm going to ask like over the course of a conversation. So it's fantastic. You brought up Roman earlier, and I wanted to dig into that just a little bit. You had that confrontation with Paul Heyman on Raw a couple months ago. Seemed like you were poised to be this like bloodline hunter. And I wonder if this was a change of plan situation or not, because Drew McIntyre not only has the issue with Roman Reigns, there's an obvious ongoing hatred with CM Punk, understandable. The feud with Seth Rollins from a year ago. Those three are in a triple threat main event night one of WrestleMania. If I'm being candid, it comes across equally as logical if that would have been a four-way.
Yeah, I mean, it would 100% been logical for all the reasons you just mentioned. Doing the Bloodline Hunter thing, which we can come back to. That's just an ongoing story for Drew McIntyre, but would have been nice to get there for WrestleMania. And you mentioned CM Punk, couldn't be any more hatred there than there already is, and we can't take it any further currently in a singles situation. So it would
Right.
have to be wanting to be that main event and preventing him from getting his dream in that main event. Seth and I non-stop feuding over the years, the world title match WrestleMania last year. And with Paul Heyman, as I mentioned in that story, I mean, I always say things in my own fun little way. I refer to myself as the daddy of the bloodline, but when I broke it down so everyone could understand, it was I'm the one that beat Brock Lesnar. I'm the one that set Heyman off into the ocean, and
Hmm.
it was Roman who had to rescue him from obscurity because I sent him there, which led to the bloodline, led to all the horrible things, the reign of terror that happened to me and multiple other people. If I didn't win that match, would be in the position we're in now? Would that have happened? We'll never know. And Roman has always been my kryptonite. I've never been able to get that win over him, no matter how many big matches we've had. And had him in the UK Clash of the Castle, 1-2 and solo debuted, pulled him out of the ring. Worst night of my life, singing karaoke with Tyson Fury at the end. I also blame blame Roman for that. So yeah, the story was already ready made, and perhaps it would have been interesting to have that. You know, all three are, are they good, are they bad? The shades of grey now, but that one who's seems like he's more of the bad guy, even though I'm completely justified everything I freaking say and tell the truth. I'm still treated like a bad guy by most people. So that would have been cool. But again, we've got a story that makes sense leading into WrestleMania right now, and that's something we can come back to with all of them down the line because the past matters these days, and thank goodness because it should. We're 52 weeks a year,
Yeah.
and Bloodline and that story that went 3 straight years and is continuing to this day showed that we can develop characters with deeper human emotions and deeper layered storytelling and use the past and not insult our audience's intelligence that they won't remember. And if they don't remember, it's up to us to articulate to them in the microphone and sell. This is the reason I feel this way, is because this happened. And worst case scenario, we have the best, video package editors in the world. They'll tell you the story that way. So the whole show has become more three-dimensional, but especially the characters and storylines, and that's where I absolutely thrive, and I'm having such a great time. Just making people question what's real and what's not real. Because a lot of the time, if it feels real, it is freaking real. And if it wasn't real before, I make it real to myself. And I'll probably work myself up into a frenzy to make something real that's perhaps not real so everybody else feels it.
I love the idea of blaming Roman for the Tyson Fury situation. That's exactly what we need to be doing. You have a
Yep.
great head
If
on
I
your
didn't get screwed, I wouldn't have been singing that stupid song. I'd have told him, get out the bloody ring. This is my moment.
you have a great head on your shoulders always when it comes to the winning and losing of professional wrestling, what it takes to be effective in your role, no matter the outcome of the match. Going into Cardiff and then Glasgow with two heavyweight championship matches, winning neither of them, knowing WWE is rotating Clash at the Castle and going back to Glasgow for a show like that probably isn't going to happen for at least a couple of years. How hard is that to stomach just from a personal perspective of wanting a big moment in front of fans who are all the way in for you?
Yeah, I think that would have been an amazing moment, be it the first Clash of the Castle, first UK stadium shows in SummerSlam 92, 55,000 people, all on my side during a period where Roman was the bad guy but getting cheered by everybody. And then literally 30 minutes from my hometown in Glasgow, where I went to university for 4 years. What a moment that would have been, to win the title there. But it's all about the bigger picture in WWE, and the storyline, the way it played out, is the reason like everybody's voting it like feud of the year and inevitably match of the year and all this stuff is because of the story that was told on the way. In the past, I would have questioned moments like that because things didn't always stay on the path. They could sometimes shift off sporadic different directions. It was hard to sew it all back together, which is my favorite thing to do now. If something feels a little off, I go to social, I sew it back together. Easy peasy, because everything basically stays logical now, and it'd be cool to have those moments. But again, it's about the bigger picture, and some people sometimes tune in for the first time. I get the feedback in some of these interviews I do where it's a casual fan or somebody tuning in for the first time. They're trying to understand how on earth, like I at 6'7" in my boots and 280 pounds, I'm not crushing everybody left and right. And I was like, well, if you watch the show and you get into the story a little bit, you'll realize that sometimes I put myself in a situation where either I get egg on my face or I do literally get screwed. And because I tell the truth afterwards of getting screwed, somehow that makes me the bad guy. And stop complaining, Joe. You're just always complaining. You got to let things go. I was like, if this was, real life and something like that happened to you, for example, Clash at the Castle, the Roman situation,
Hmm.
you've been gone for almost 20 years, your family have sacrificed, their son, brother, cousin, you've missed all the birthdays, weddings, etc. You're there, you're live, you could have won that title, had that moment with them, presented it to them, said, I'm sorry, you've all had to sacrifice even more than me, but we have this moment together, and that was taken away from you. You just get over it because one of the guys, Roman, went away on vacation, got some abs, drank some margaritas, came back a hero. The other guy started waving his hands, screaming yeet, and suddenly, oh no, he's cool now. He says that funny word. Even when he's trying to say serious things, they still say the stupid word because do they care about the person or they care about the stupid word? Or would you be upset to your core like me and not let it go because you're a human being with real human emotions? And the only way to let it go is to get validation, to get not revenge, to get even an apology. To this day, Jey Uso has not said sorry for his role in the multiple beatings that I took from him and his family.
Yeah. No, no question. I know you've been asked a bunch about this recently, so I'm going to try to take it just from a different perspective. I don't have an issue with other people's blood, but my own. I'm a total pussy. And I have no problem admitting that at all. If I saw blood spurt out of my head after being hit with a toolbox inside Hell in a Cell, I would have straight up passed out. How did you feel physically and mentally in that moment? Was that another day at the office for you, or did the adrenaline just take over? You pushed yourself through, or did it not matter because you're a professional wrestler and you've done that before? Maybe not to that degree, but you've gotten cut, you've bled, and you get hurt.
I think very few people in history have bled that bad.
Yeah, that was
Eddie Guerrero. But no, my first thought was, oh no, not for my health. Oh no, this is the culmination of this very long story
hmm,
based on real hatred that has turned into something magical because as much as we don't like each other, we're both professional, and this is the culmination, and I am potentially going to have the match stopped or pass out here. There's a lot of thoughts go through your head in a scary moment like that.
mhm.
Seeing the blood spurt, feeling it come down my face, checking with the ref, hey, how's it look? Bad. Knowing, I've been around for a while, so you got to treat these situations very serious, especially knowing what we know about head injuries
Mhm.
today. The camera is going to be cutting away, or at least in a wide shot. I know it won't be right in my face. And checking with the ref, how's it look? Tell them in the back, I'm okay. I'm with it. I'm not concussed. They got the doctor to ringside, nonetheless, just by the cage. So I was able to roll out, talk to him briefly, and just show everybody that I'm okay because there's nothing worse than when a match has to stop. But if it has to stop for an injury, it's going to stop in today's day and age, as much as I wouldn't like it as a professional, especially in the heat of the moment.
Mhm.
And especially when it comes to head injuries, that's just what we have to do, knowing what we know now. But we're able to communicate, ensure everything was done as safely as possible, ensure I was 100% okay, which I was minus the blood coming down my face. And yeah, we got on with it, thank God, because it turned into possibly the greatest match I've ever had, and
Yeah.
great reception. And if anything else, it restored Hell in the Cell to what it was when I was a kid, rather than just a random gimmick match that we had to force two matches onto a pay-per-view because it's called Hell in the Cell.
Right. Two tag teams in there, no one doing anything
Yeah,
extreme,
yeah. I was like,
all
what the
that
hell?
crap.
I used to think that even I was in there a couple of times. I was like, okay, this is like Randy and I believe
Yeah.
justify the Hell in the Cell, but I was just that doesn't justify Hell in the Cell. But I saw other matches, like, come on, this is Hell in the Cell. Like, give me a freaking break. It's an absolute joke. So I was proud to restore,
Yeah, you
the
did.
mystique of Hell in the Cell. That if somebody says we're in a Hell in the Cell match, it's not going to be cool, man. That's basically just a singles match these days. It's oh my god, that's the last thing we do in a blood feud. That is the ultimate blood feud match.
Yeah, we get two of them on a pay-per-view and then randomly on a Raw for no reason whatsoever. But now it actually matters where you're doing that match. There's a reason that you're doing it. Before we get out of that match, real quick, that missed Claymore where you landed back first on the steel steps, it looked to me as a viewer like an all-time painful bump. Does that rank anywhere high for you, or did it just look worse than it was?
It was painful and scary because it's the lower back. Um, sometimes take calculated risks. I perhaps didn't mean it to be as bad as it was,
Mhm.
but did it as safe as could be done. But still very painful, a lot of injury, pain coming out. But the first thing that's through your mind, or my mind, as a long term wrestling fan, long term wrestler, is like Shawn Michaels in the casket. Like, God, did I land that right? Like all it took was him clipping the casket with the edge of his back, and his career was over. So I always hear Mick Foley talking about the risk reward ratio. His was a little bit more extreme than mine, but in that match, it was okay for this match. I'm willing to do this. This is how I do it in the safest way possible, and I was able to do it. And I trust my body and timing that I'm able to do things in the safest way possible, and I only take those kind of risks in the biggest of moments. And it went as good as it could go, which means it hurt a lot, but no injury.
Yeah, no, for sure. What's been hitting for me most with Drew McIntyre these last couple of years is you come out, you tell the truth, you let the chips fall, where they may. Really, it's you, Kevin Owens, and Liv Morgan, ironically enough, could easily be a group of people who are just minding your business, doing your jobs, and being unfairly hated for it, right? Was there ever any talk of you and KO linking up? Because at one point, it kind of seemed your storylines were dancing around one another, and something like that might have been possible.
Yeah, I mean, certainly myself and Kevin. I mean, creative, I'm sure, at least discussed it, but Kevin and I at least discussed it. Just things were so similar. Her arguments were based on very similar experiences from a character perspective, and we weren't wrong. And the way we're dealing with it was people that have been pushed over the edge, and we're in WWE, so our retaliation to be pushed over the edge is we're going to beat you up because it's WWE. And if anybody outside of WWE was pushed like us and they could get away with it, and they were, my size specifically, they would start cracking some heads. So maybe that's something we can explore down the line. Obviously, Kevin, it's got to take some time off, and I wish him all the best. It's unfortunate right before WrestleMania. I told him the same.
Yeah.
It sucks. I've been there when things are taken away from you. Especially when it comes to your body. It's scary. You only get one neck. Can't take any chances. So we've all got our fingers crossed he'll get through that and back as quick as he can and safely as he can.
Yeah, no question. That was actually a kind of odd segment because I think fans now are conditioned to get that Mark Henry salmon jacket moment where someone comes out, oh, my neck's hurt, I'm going to be gone for a while, and they're in a blood feud with someone like Randy Orton. And oh no, they're just going to, run back and knock him out. So the fans didn't necessarily react the way they would have in the past to someone kind of giving a diagnosis of themselves like that. I just found that really interesting. And that's perhaps a credit to the way WWE is booked these days and written creatively, that fans are trepidatious when they see something like that to say, hey, you know what? That's crap. They're so good at this now that they're going to get one over on us instead of giving the
Yeah.
reaction that I'm sure Kevin wanted and not maybe not wanted, but expected potentially.
Yeah. And you're right. And that's, I guess, the art of it and where things are now. It's certainly how I operate. Like I still can't get my head around people acting different on television than they do in social media and say, oh, well, actors do it and the likes.
Mhm.
It's not the same. We're 52 weeks a year. We play the same character. We're trying to suspend disbelief. Everybody knows, the deal now, but at the same time, make people question things. It's pretty simple. Be the character. Like Undertaker told me when I was a kid, and I never understood what the hell he was trying to tell me when he was my mentor. Stop playing the wrestler and be the wrestler. And I'm like, God, what are you talking about? I'm in wrestling gear. I'm wrestling. Well, I couldn't be any more of a wrestler. What are you talking about? But then it clicked one day. I was like, oh my God, I get it now. I get it. I'm just bloody trying to put on this performance. I'm not present. I always say about the eye test, like I can look in someone's eyes and see if they're believing what they're doing or they're just putting on a little performance. And part of it in today's day and age is living, breathing that character and
Yeah.
convincing them that it's 100%. And if they feel it's 100%, it probably is, or at least comes from a truthful place, and everything should come from a truthful place. So I'm hoping more people start thinking and acting that way. And like you say, people questioned if Kevin's thing was legit just because of the amazing character work he's been doing and so many amazing segments that have caught people off guard. Like, you got me there.
Hmm.
I remember one, if anyone wants to do some Drew McIntyre research, homework out there, if everybody's like, oh my God, he suddenly got good at talking and won all these promo awards in 2024. We couldn't talk before. So go back to my indie stuff and find yourself
Mhm.
from my ICW stuff where I could be the way I am now. I have that creative freedom where I can go all the way and not feel like there's a line I can stop at. I can just run, and sometimes, Hunter specifically can pull me back because that's what he wants. He wants people to run out front and have to tug them back rather than push people forward. There was one where I got injured. I broke my neck for real, and I wasn't supposed to make a big ICW show at the Hydro. We built the crowds from 1,500 people when I first got fired to over 7,000 people for the biggest indie show in like 30 years to that point
Mhm.
until All In. And I did a speech in the crowd there at the very beginning. I was the bad guy. They're swearing at me. They're saying it's garbage. By the end, I think somebody had passed out. Somebody had got thrown out. And I won't ruin the ending, but just look up that promo, like Drew McIntyre, like Broken Neck, ICW promo, and you'll see some of the stuff I consider my best work.
Yeah,
It's from 2016.
not just gonna look it up, I'm gonna play it if I can find it right here on the show.
Yeah, please. And in that moment when you can see the beginning, the difference between the beginning and the end, the guy I'm feuding with, the owner of the company, Mark Dallas, my group, the Black Label, we're all together. And by the end, that's the beauty of it. Also, we kind of had limited time there, I guess, but
Sure.
it is work, but it is an art, and it's such a fun. This rest makes wrestling so beautiful. It's taking
That's
people through this emotional journey, and just you get them, they truly get somebody emotionally. That makes it all
that's the
worthwhile.
promo you're most proud of in your career.
There's a lot. Um, there's ones people will go to, like the Punk one. I prayed for this and it happened, and all that are cool, and some
That
that
might
were
be that
just
might
like,
be the best line, definitely. But
yeah, but even the content, like, and then the first one I did with Punk, I think even himself was like, oh, this is the same kid, and you could see in his eyes as I was going, oh,
yeah,
this is not the same guy, and I knew I wasn't the same guy, and I feel like, I'd just been unleashed, and something had been hiding inside me, and I had all this I don't know, emotion deep down, even if it's real from Drew Galloway or if it's real from Drew McIntyre. Sometimes I can't tell the difference anymore, and that's what makes it so interesting to me as well as the fans.
It does. So since you like to tell the truth, I figured I'd throw a bunch of topics at you, get your honest reactions and answers one by one. Some about wrestling, some not. So I'm going to mix them up here, all right? You and Stone Cold Steve Austin, as he says, you got some strong ass cats in your life. I think you're up to four now, right? Four.
Sadly, too, had to go back with
Oh,
the wife's mother. We had them for almost 2 years, so it really sucked that they had to leave. So we have space now, though, so
well, here's the
we can take
question.
in a couple of more.
I know you were pushed by your wife a little bit with the start of this. She probably won't see this, so you can be honest. Do you miss dogs?
Um, I mean, I never truly had dogs. The people I was with had dogs, but I love dogs. They're great. Um, but realistically, for my job, I'm not home enough. They need attention constantly and walked constantly, and it's not really fair. And actually, my cats need attention constantly because my wife babies them so much. Like Chaz is like a Velcro cat. Wherever she goes, he's there. He's got separation anxiety. He'll scream from the other room till she comes and
God.
picks him up and takes him in. But yeah, I love all animals. I told Stone Cold the same deal, and he was like, I'm just more of a dog person. Like, but now he's seen the beauty of cats, and it's
Yeah.
cats and dogs. It's all animals. We love all animals. But I pretty much said dogs put it out there freely, not saying they're whores with her.
Yeah,
They
no.
kind of put it out there left and right to anybody that'll throw them a little hand.
Yep,
And cats, you have to earn that love. You have to build that relationship and earn that trust. And
you do.
that's like a very special relationship when you're in a cat's trust.
So carrying around the Claymore for so long, did it feel inauthentic to you and laborious lugging that to the ring? Did you ever just say to creative, if I hate these people so much and I have a sword, why don't I just stab them?
Of course. I liked it for the entrance, and that was it. I never understood why I had it during the. I did understand, the visual of people tuning in the
Right.
first time, etc. But when it came to somebody standing in the ring with me, there was a couple of times that I crossed my mind. If this person does get out the ring, I'm going to stab them for real because this is stupid.
All right. You used to live in Tampa. Now you live in Nashville. Big change there. How annoying are the never ending string of bachelorette parties downtown?
I don't go downtown enough, but very. Whenever I go down there, which is usually just to like most of the nice restaurants, whatever special occasion. Wife and I never leave the freaking house. It's great. We love it. We just get the more and more as time passes. I used to be like, gotta be around people all the time, and then we get further away. Eventually, I'll live in a compound somewhere. But we go downtown for special occasions like anniversaries or birthdays, whatever. And every time, without fail, there's those damn I don't even know what you call them, portable bars where they're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like cycling along. It looks like the whole time, and they've ruined Mr. Brightside for me. It's always Mr. Brightside. I love that song. When I was at uni, my God, you sung it so much. Love that song, and they've ruined it for me because it's always playing, and they're always screaming at the top of their voice, thinking they're freaking on. I don't know what the current singing show is.
Sure.
What's the masked singer, the bloody gagged singer? So I can freaking hear them. But they've ruined Mr. Brightside because I can hear their voices perfectly clear outside of those stupid portable bars.
All right. Royal Rumble this year. You were, or I should say, were you legitimately fuming backstage, or was that reported anger over that elimination spot? Was that exaggerated?
I mean, not all the details are accurate, but yeah, I was fuming, and I let everybody know what I thought, and then I left because I've learned as an adult nothing good happens when you're highly emotional. So just go calm down, get the facts, then deal with it.
When
Because I don't want to punch somebody in the head and be unprofessional and then find out facts later I didn't know about.
when
It's a
some
grown up thing to do.
no, that's what I was gonna say. When something like that happens and no one physically gets hurt, is it just a bad day at the office, or does it depend how the other person handles it, or both?
I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. For me, it's just if I ever feel somebody did something disrespectful,
Sure.
went into business for themselves and the likes, that's when I get frustrated. And sometimes it's not what it appears on the surface, and you have to get all the facts together, and you have to just calm down. It's just fun that every time I have a moment, it doesn't happen often. I'm sure Priest will probably make jokes about it in the promo because that's all he's got. Aside, Drew complains all the time. He's always going to leave the building. I was like, come on, mate, it's a couple of times in a few years. Consider I'm Scottish. I get an anger problem. That's not too bad.
Right.
Also, if I stayed, I might have punched some people out and been like, oh, actually, it wasn't actually their fault. Wakey, wakey.
So whether we're talking pint for pint, whiskey for whiskey, scotch for scotch, whatever it is, who would remain standing if you and Sheamus went head to head at the bar?
I mean, he's definitely improved over the years.
But not
Um,
at your level, is what you're saying.
no, no. But yeah, he used to duck out back in the day, at like 1, 2 in the morning. And I would go right through. And to be fair, there's like a 25-year age difference where he's way older than me. He's pushing 70 at this point. So, he's an older guy. But no, he has certainly blossomed in that area.
You guys have been on and off the road together for what, 20 years at this point? Is there a
Literally,
singular road story with Sheamus, whether it's alcohol involved or not, that you want to share?
yeah, just so many that I could tell and some that I can't tell that could incriminate people. But
I'll take all of them, whatever you want.
Uh, I don't think there's any that'll get any headlines I'd be willing to tell. There's a fun one. My dad likes to refer to the time that he came on the road with us and he couldn't believe. And again, the schedule's different now, thank goodness. But
Right.
the way the schedule used to be, my dad came on the road for one weekend and it just happened to be like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So he was on the road with us 4 days where he was doing, I think it was like probably a dart match, and then two live events, and then television. And he just couldn't believe the travel we did and how difficult it was. But then we're in the car. Seamus always likes to drive, and he would have the iPad playing, and his eye would like to wander occasionally to let us know you got to watch this part. My dad would be freaking out because the car would be swerving the whole time, and he was crapping his pants as we watched Father Ted or something. Great show by everyone out there. You should watch it. Father Ted from back in the day. And whenever Seamus wants you to watch a particular part of a show, even if you've watched it 700 times and you can recite it with your eyes closed and just hear the episode, he will make sure you watch it. You got to watch this part. Hey, Andy, watch this part. Please watch the road, Stephen, please. So that was a fun weekend of my dad freaking out the whole time.
That's good. We're going to get the inappropriate ones out from you one day, though. I promise you. This Tennessee Volunteers hat's throwing me. Are you actually a Tennessee fan? I'm a Florida Gators fan. We just won the national championship yesterday. It feels slightly disrespectful, if I'm being honest. But no, seriously, what I was going to ask you for real is whether you actually liked any American sports or if it was just, football for you. But now I see the Vols hat. I got to know. Is that real fandom or you're just in Tennessee?
No, this hat's because I went to the airport and I forgot my baseball cap, and it's weird that I used to make fun of Superman for where's the glasses as Clark Kent, and I'm like, how do you not know that's Superman, you idiots? That's clearly Superman. He'd take them off, and oh my God, Superman's here. I used to think that was the stupidest thing in the world. My wife told me, in fact, you put on a baseball cap, you might be able to blend in a little more, and I was like freaking as tall and as big as I am, I don't think that's going to happen. Long hair and a beard, and sure enough, I put on the baseball cap, and it got me able to go right through airports with maybe a couple of pictures on the way because usually I'm late and I'm racing to make the flight. And I start stopping left and right. I'm going to miss that flight. So I just happened to buy this hat. So I can tell you one thing about the
No,
Volunteers.
I
I
love
live
that.
here now, but I spent 13 years in Tampa. So yeah, I was watching, paying attention to the Gators. I never became a massive fan. I went to a game one time at this stadium against Troy. It was myself, Wade Barrett, Wyndham Rotunda, who used to play
Mhm.
for Troy, Taylor Rotunda.
Yeah, you know what? I remember
And
hearing that story back in the day. Now that you say that, yeah.
yeah, it was
I remember
like
that.
we got there and then we were like, okay, here we go. Like 4 or 5 beers, please. And we don't sell beer here. But what do you mean?
Yeah, they do
What are we
now.
getting?
They just
What are we
started a
gonna?
couple years
What
ago.
are we gonna do? And then Wyndham gave me my first dip, and I was an absolute train wreck. I didn't realize the kind of buzz it would give me. I think I was like God. I think Taylor was in his teens, so I think Wyndham would be barely in his 20s. I'd be like 22, 23, just drooling dip all over myself and not know where to put it, and just
Oh.
like high as a kite from tobacco. And it's the last time I ever did, yeah,
And it's
chewing
like
tobacco.
90, it's 95 degrees in that stadium.
Oh, so hot,
So hot.
drooling, chewing tobacco on myself like an
Oh,
idiot, and eventually would be like left at half time. I enjoyed the game up till then, but Wade Barrett and I decided we need some alcohol right now. Let's go.
no, and it's close enough. It's right across the street, so that works. I'll get you out of here on this last question I'm going to ask for the truth on. You're now going to be synonymous with 5 minutes and 46 seconds. It's been following you around for a year now. Do your performances normally last longer than that?
Yes. Yes, they do. Yeah, I think that was a line I just saw on the Twitter today. Like I said a year ago. So it was like a year and one day
Something like
since
that, yeah.
Mania last year. Yeah, yeah. And I was ripping on everyone and said it's 5 minutes longer than most of y'all last in bed. I think I may have got a wrist slap for that one sometimes. I get
That's
my
funny.
wrist slapped when I get backstage. But yeah, I go all the way. I go all
I'll,
the way out there. That's for
I'll,
sure.
I'll tell you what, it was the best sub 6 minute championship reign in WWE history. So congratulations to you on that one. All right.
Yeah, I think I told Randy the other day, and I could say the same thing to Priest as well. Like everyone wants to make their jokes about it. When the world title at WrestleMania, I was assaulted from behind after rubbing the title in Punk's face, like I said I was going to do. Then I get bashed in the head with a briefcase, and I get screwed out of the title. So I still had my moment at WrestleMania. Still gave the wife the title. Still, that was very real. The moment with Seth, such rivals, but professional rivals. Not that Punk and I we can't stand each other. And I let Randy know the other week when I walked out, I was like, he's telling Cody, I'm going to come for the title match. I was like, wait just a minute. I appreciate you, Randy Orton, but if that's the only reason you got, that's not exactly fair. So I'm trying to get to the back of that line. More people have been talking about my 5 minutes and 46 seconds as much as they want to make jokes about it. And your entire comeback, you've been sitting your arse on the shelf half the time because you get pile drove by Kevin Owens and with Damian Priest. I was like, you can make all the jokes in the world you want to make, but realistically, more people have talked about my 5 minutes and 40 seconds and your entire title reign that nobody really remembers.
There you go. And that was 1 year ago at WrestleMania. We're about a week and a half away from WrestleMania 41, Saturday and Sunday, April 19th to 20th, Legion Stadium in Las Vegas, live on Peacock in the United States, Netflix internationally. And of course, you can catch Drew McIntyre on SmackDown every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, USA Network, Netflix internationally as well. Drew, appreciate all the time, man. Thanks for answering all those questions. And hopefully it's not a couple years until I see you again.
No, no, we'll definitely make it sooner. Once people start appreciating old Drew McIntyre more, I'll start coming back into the world of interviews. But if I don't, and I'd only do a couple, you'll be on that list.
Appreciate it, man. Nice seeing you.
Thank you, brother. Take care.